I'm bored, I'm sick, I'm broke, I need a hobby to justify my existence, so I'm deciding to review a game. So, being that I don't have a lot of money, I've decided, hey, you know what, I'm going to review a cheap game, and I'll probably keep reviewing cheap games until, I don't know, who knows. General premise of this, I'm trying to review games that are under $20, see if they're worth my time, see if they're worth your time, you know? Trying to make sure that everything gets balanced out. I know I'm still wearing a Christmas hat. My normal hat is out in the car and it's cold and I don't want to get it. So we're going to settle with this. Anyway, I'm reviewing Battle Chef Brigade. It is a game that I got for about $20. It's all right, honestly. Going through it, I thought that the gameplay was fun. Unfortunately, I feel it lacks a lot of polish. But let's go through one thing at a time. Got a few basic criteria that I'm going to run through, and we'll see if it's actually worth your time. Anyway, the gameplay. The gameplay's a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with this game. I wish that there was more content to it, though. There are three characters. You have Mina, who is the rogue archetype, high speed, light damage, dodging, teleporting, all of that stuff. Really fun character. You have Thrash, who's supposed to be the berserker, high damage, high health, has a counter, has a berserk mode, all that stuff. And then you have Ziggy, who is a necromancer. Ziggy's whole thing is that he is the high difficulty, high reward character. You know, he can teleport ingredients back to base so he doesn't have to carry everything. He can create minions to fight in his stead. He has a bunch of attacks that allow him to, have high mobility within a limited space. Unfortunately, you don't have iframes when you're playing as Ziggy, other than one really specific move that's a slide. That doesn't work when you're going uphill, by the way. The game flow is a lot of fun, though. The general premise is that it is a side-scrolling beat-em-up with puzzle mechanics incorporated into it. You go out, you hunt the ingredients for whatever it is you plan on doing, and you bring them back to base and you cook them into a meal to the specifications of your judge. And normally the specifications are water, earth, fire, or some combination of those three elements. The story it's good. It's nothing great. It's nothing that hasn't been done before. The general premise is that on a big adventure as Mina, the main character, and you find out that people are getting sick and it becomes your job to find the source of that sickness and to help cure it and prepare food in a way that's safe for people to eat. I won't spoil anything really beyond that. There are a few twists here and there, but nothing substantial. The game itself isn't all that long. You could probably get through the entire game for both of your runs, because there is a normal mode and a hard mode for the game. You could probably get through both of them in about 20 hours. Maybe 10 or 12 hours for your first run, and then once you know what you're doing, the second one's going to take you maybe 8. And this is on the long side. So you're not going to get a ton of gameplay, but for 20 bucks, 20 hours, $1 an hour is actually a really solid deal. I will say this, it can become grating if you're trying to get all of the achievements, because most of them are fairly straightforward, beat the game without losing. I was able to do that on both of my runs, first time through, so it's not a particularly hard game. And beat the game on hard mode, obvious, really simple, straightforward one. Do all of the side quests. There's one for jumping on the bed, which is a fun one, but that's your secret achievement. Sorry, spoilers. But there's one achievement that I really didn't like, which is maxing out your rank, which is done by either doing the endless mode or doing your daily runs, and you want to do your daily runs for this, because doing the endless mode can take up to, depending on your skill, 30 minutes to an hour to get 200 points, and you need 50,000 points to max out your, Brigadier rank. Which, even doing the daily runs, which are only worth about 250 points, you're still looking at about 200 runs, which took me the other 50 hours of my total playtime. So 20 hours for the story and then 50 extra hours just for that one achievement, which was grating. I hate that. That was one thing in particular I don't appreciate is when games artificially pad out their playtime with pointless achievements. And that is the exact thing I am talking about when I'm talking about pointless achievements. It's like, why even incorporate that? Why make that such a high level thing? Especially for a game that has so little content. If this was a 50-hour game and then there was an achievement that took 50 hours to get that coincided with it, that'd be a different story entirely. But that one achievement is almost 3 times longer than the entire game. The whole game, and that one achievement is 75% of it. It's awful. It's terrible. That is one of the one things that I absolutely hate about modern gaming is artificially padding out playtimes. Beyond that, I mean, the actual style and execution of the game was a lot of fun, you know. The sound effects are fun and varied enough that it doesn't start becoming, grating and boring. The art style is actually really cool. I do wish that there were a few more animations for some of the characters, because some of the characters kind of just pop into existence and don't have any animation of, like, walking. So, like, there's only 3 characters who have walking animations. And it's the 3 characters you play as. No one else has animations. Like, they might have expressions and stuff, but they don't have walk cycles. They don't have, like, nothing. If you're up against an NPC that isn't a playable character, they kind of just slide off the edge of the screen when you encounter them, which is a little bit funny, but also a little bit sad. From what I heard, there was supposed to be an additional playable character, which was Kieran, and her fighting style was supposed to be like using heavy magic, and she's supposed to have a flying ability and all of that stuff, but unfortunately, hi Skittles. But unfortunately, Kieran was never implemented into the final gameplay. There was a few other mechanics that didn't get implemented in either, which was a bit of a bummer. This game could definitely use some more in general. Heads up, if you're colorblind, because this game revolves very heavily on, knowing your colors, because the 3 base colors for your puzzle elements are red, blue, and green. If you have red-blue color blindness, there's no accessibility option to set that straight, unfortunately. Not a game breaker for most people, but for the few people who do have color blindness, just a heads up before buying the game. The one thing I will say was really, really solid about the game itself was performance. I did not have a single issue playing this game this entire time. I had 2 glitches that were incredibly minor. One time an ingredient fell through the floor and I couldn't access it. In 70 hours, 1 ingredient, no big deal. The other time my character clipped through the floor, but if you fall out of bounds, you immediately respawn at the beginning of the level and just drop your stuff on the floor. You don't even lose health, so I really couldn't complain about that. It was basically no harm, no foul. And again, that's 2 errors. 1 error every 35 hours of gameplay. That's virtually nothing. So I had absolutely no problems with that. The only thing that I will say that caused performance issues, it's one single thing. The multiplayer. It is co-op only. You can't really play online. I mean, you can play online through your local share on Steam or, what have you. But at least on my computer, my glorious rig, who's almost of driving age, freaking 13-year-old computer, she serves me well. It cannot run the multiplayer very well. It was chugging. I was probably getting, 15 frames a second at best. It was rough to watch. So, but beyond that, honestly, with my old potato of a PC, if it can run it, pretty much any modern computer can run it. It's also available on the Switch. I'm certain it has better processing on the Switch. I I would recommend this game. I would recommend, if you see it on sale, I would definitely recommend it. It might not necessarily be worth the full $20 price tag, and that would be my only major complaint. You know, it's at $1 an hour without that last achievement. You know, $1 an hour for a game isn't bad, but I've played some games where I'm getting like pennies on, like Monster Hunter. Oh my god, Monster Hunter. But like if you want a game where you're hunting down monsters and stuff, I would recommend Monster Hunter over this. I would recommend any standardized puzzle game over this. You would get more lifespan. It would be less grating, you know. It's really fun for the experience that it is though. And I would recommend, if you see it on sale, absolutely get it. It is a lot of fun for a little bit of money. Anyway, that's just about all I have to say on this. If this video does well, I might do other games for a board on the budget series, you know? But beyond that, thank you for watching, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye!